Welcome to the Introduction to Managing Your Listings, which is a complete overview of the listings management section of the software. I'm glad that you're here this morning. My name is Kelsey Fulton, and I'm one of the trainers here at Back at You. For those of you that don't know me, for those of you that do, you know the drill. And on the left-hand side of your screen, you're going to see a chat box and a question box. So in one of those boxes, if you can drop me a line letting me know that you can hear me and see my screen, that is super helpful. Good morning, Julia. Good morning, Perry, Christine, Naya, Janine. Glad that you're here. Welcome back, Taya. And today we're going to be spending our time in the back office really looking at how do you manage your listings and what tools do you have available to you. So if you can see my screen, we should be good to go. Good morning, Carol. The other thing I do want to mention is this session is being recorded, and a copy of this recording will be uploaded to YouTube. You will also get a copy in this your email this afternoon with an announcement about other upcoming trainings, and we are glad to have you. So as you log into your back office, you're going to see this main dashboard. And as you're looking at this main dashboard, know that you are going to be spending your time today. We're really going to be looking at this active listings tab. Now, if you do not have any active listings, this gauge will show as 0. But if you click here, it's going to click through to your main listing dashboard. Few other things to note. If you are within a different section of your back office and you need to access your listings, you can always do so by clicking on listings and then going into for sale listings. And once you're within your listings tab, you'll be able to access and see only your listings as an agent. So as an agent, you're only going to see your listings. So if right now you're following along or you go in after the session and you don't have listings, you click here and you don't see anything, do not fret. That's because you don't have any listings. So the first thing I really want to just quickly go through is making sure that you know that these items at the top, property type, listing type, list price, status, agent, are all clickable fields. So if you need to use them to sort through your listings, you absolutely can do that simply by clicking on that button. Now, all of your listings are pulling from the MLS. So we're displaying all MLS listings on your website provided by Back at You, as well as your company website. And as part of that, we're also pulling all of your listings into the back office. So you're able to see your back office listings within your office. We are pinging your MLS servers as often as we can, and depending on your MLS and the type of connection we have with them, your listings are updating every 5 to 15 minutes. So as your listings are updating on your website, they're also updating in your back office. Now, you'll notice on the right-hand side of the screen, there is an actions button. And this action button you can use, and you can see there are some quick links for sharing on social media. So you can share either a detail, showcase, or some of you will have a single listing website that can be shared on your social media. To share, simply click the social media platform you wish to share, Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, or LinkedIn, and it will open that platform so you're able to share. Easy click, opens in a separate window so that you can easily share that on Facebook. Now, the other thing that you can do within your listings is go in and click on edit. When you click on edit, you'll notice that the screen pulls out from the right-hand side, much like it does from your contacts, and it's going to show you all of the information that has pulled from MLS. The MLS number, the list price, is it active? You'll also see those details here for sharing, whether it's the details page or the showcase page. And today we're going to spend some time really going through all of these items so that you're in the loop and know the tools that you have available to you for your listing. So the first thing I want to go through is on the left-hand side, as you scroll down, this is all of the information about the listing. The listing information, the contact information, so it'll have your name as the listing agent, the location. If you're using a voice service with us, the voice number can be found here, as well as the details. So again, to get to this page, we went to listings, We opened up our main listing dashboard, and then we selected the listing to edit. Now, if you would like, you can attach your seller to your listing. So you can see here on this listing that my name is in as the seller name. And I would like to spend a little bit of time talking about what that means. What does it mean to attach your seller to the listing? And the first thing that does is it allows the portal on your website. So when clients are on your website and they log in, it is going to change that portal from a buyer portal into a seller portal. So when I log in, I see my listing information, and I can absolutely search the MLS, but my focus is no longer what's in the MLS, it's what's happening with my house that I have for sale. Now, by doing this and attaching my name here, you can either type the seller's name, or if you have not entered that seller name into your CRM section, you can add a seller simply by clicking this person, typing in their information, including their login, and it will attach the seller. As you're going through and you're making changes to your listing, please make sure that you're clicking the save button in the upper right-hand corner. There's nothing more frustrating than going through an entire process of changing and editing and adding information only to have that information not saved. So the first benefit of attaching the seller to your listing is that you're converting that seller portal, that portal on your website, to display the listing information. Now, as I scroll down and I can see information pulling from MLS, there are a few other things that you can change. We are pulling those MLS remarks from the MLS so they auto-populate. Now, something to keep in mind is we have all agreed to play nice in the sandbox. The MLS that I'm a part of doesn't allow you to put builder names in the description. But if you want to edit that description and have it display on your website and your company website differently than what you have in your MLS, you can absolutely go in, you can delete and edit information so that it is updated. Now notice on the left-hand side here that this says this is the description as it will be displayed on the website, and that this field has been modified through back office and it will not be updated by the MLS remarks. Because we're pulling from your MLS every 5 to 15 minutes, if we were to not disable this, all of the changes that you made would have to be redone every 5 to 15 minutes. If at some point you decide you just want the description to be the same in MLS as it is in your back office, no big deal. Click Allow Overwrite from Data Feed, and that description will then match your MLS remarks. Any questions about updating those MLS remarks as you scroll down before we jump into what a seller story is? Okay, so another benefit of adding a seller to your listing is the ability for them to add a story. So within that portal, you can see here that there is a section that says property story. And this section is a place where your seller can go ahead and go in and type a story about their home. Perhaps they have an interesting story about the history of the home, or maybe they want to tell the story about why they chose the neighborhood or their favorite activities to do in the summer. And they're great stories, but they don't fit into what the MLS description needs that really describes the property itself. Your seller can share a story, they can type it in their portal, or they can submit it to you and you can enter that story in here by typing. And this property story will always default to inactive. So if a seller puts a property story in, you're going to get an alert saying, hey, Perry, your seller, Kelsey, has entered a story, and you have to physically go in and activate it. That is done with intention because we realize that not all sellers thoroughly understand the consequences of fair and equal housing and what you can and cannot say. And so the last thing that we want to do is to get you into hot water because we're automatically posting something that your seller says. My example of this is I had a seller a few years back who had a wonderful home, and we were talking about setting up showings. And my seller said to me, hey, we can do any showing within 24 hours notice. And if it's Monday through Friday from 8 to 5:30, we're at work. So just show, we'll leave the house in showing condition. But please don't let agents bring their clients in with their kids with their grubby little hands touching our stuff. And I chuckled and I had to tell my seller, hey, while I can absolutely understand that we would prefer that people don't bring their kids, I can't do that. That's a violation of fair housing, and equal housing law that discriminates against familial status. So I can absolutely require that their agent is with them, but I cannot discriminate against people who have children. So by having that property status set to inactive, you can avoid the grubby little kids' hands comment displaying on your website. Again, once you type in this option, be sure you click save so that it saves to your website. Any questions about what the property story is, how it populates, or anything there before we start to talk about images and some other things you can do with your listings? Okay, let's jump in and let's go ahead and go down the right-hand side of this listings detail page so you know everything that you can do. The first thing that we're going to talk about, and we already talked about, is that ability to share. Again, I can share it on Twitter, Facebook. If I want to just view the website, I can click on that as well, and I can see that website here. Now, as I scroll down, I can also see that there are media options. So here I can see the media, and I can attach up to 3 different tours to my listing. If you put this media in MLS, we will absolutely pull it over and through to our system. So here I can see the media, I can add information, and through that media, it will display on the website. If you don't have those tours in MLS and you wanted to add something like a branded tour, you could do that simply by clicking and adding either the Matterport tour link or the YouTube or Vimeo tour link here so that it would then display on your website. Now below this, you'll see a section that says images. And these are all the images from the MLS. We're pulling all those images. But again, much like the details page, if you go in and you rearrange the photos for your listing within your back office account, once you do that and you click save, it is going to override the MLS so that next time we ping your MLS, you're not having to go back in and readjust those images. If for any reason at any point you decide you want to allow that, not a big deal. You click allow. And the next time we download from MLS, it is going to absolutely update those images. So far we've talked about adding a seller, changing the description, editing the seller story, editing the video tours as well as the images. And the last thing I want to show you on this right-hand side is there is a section for notes. So if you need to keep some notes about the listing just to make sure that you're in the loop, these are personal notes about the listing that you can absolutely add here to track what you're doing with the listing. Again, we are pulling from your MLS. Your listings are automatically getting updated. And so that portion of it you don't have to worry about. Now, the next thing that I want to go through is really talking about a showing request link, print email flyers, and open houses. So you can see here in this dark and bold at the top, there are some options. Some of you are in companies that are using our software to schedule showings. So if you are using our software to schedule showings and you want to share that showing request link, you can click on showing request link. You can copy and paste this into the MLS. And when you do that, it is going to take the buyer's agent to a portal page on your company website, allowing them to request showings. The next section is printing or emailing flyers. So you can absolutely print or email flyers from the system. To do that, you would simply click on print or email a flyer, and then you're going to select the flyer that you would like. So if I wanted to use this just listed flyer gray, once I do that, all of the information about the flyer is going to automatically be entered in. I can see here all the photos, all the listing information, and all of my contact information is edited. At the top, I can save and get the HTML, I can save and print, I can save an email, I can save and share this, or I can simply save this flyer if I would like. Something to note is, if you click save and print, you need to make sure your pop-up blocker is not on so that our system can open up a separate window with the PDF of that flyer that is ready and easy for you to print. Here's my flyer, all my information. If, as you're looking at the flyer, you want to edit something, so for example, you don't like that there's 3 photos of the front of the house, no big deal. You can easily click on an individual photo. You can access all of the property photos that are on that listing, and you could then go in and select the photo you wanted to add. It will always crop it to the correct size for best fit, and then that photo is inserted. Once you're done creating that flyer, you can easily click close and you'll be right back in that listing management screen so that you can really begin to manage your listings. The next section is open houses. So we are scheduling and pulling your open houses from your MLS as long as your MLS is exporting them to us. The other thing that's happening is you can actually click on open house here. And if you need to schedule open houses, you can absolutely do that. And now you can do that either in person, you can have a recorded video of an open house, or you could do a live stream of an open house. Once you do that for the live stream, you would enter the event link here so that people could access that link. If you do it as a recorded, you would enter that video link here and you can post your video open house. Or if you're doing it in person, you would just go in and schedule the date and the time of that open house as well as who's holding it. What's really nice about this, especially if you're using the live stream, is you can do a live stream, but you can still access that open house sign-in page so that you can capture leads for that open house. Again, once I put that in, I can go ahead, I can click finish. And that open house is here. Any questions on scheduling an open house through the software? How many of you within your MLS you're able to schedule a virtual open house? Awesome. So Taya has a great question. Awesome. So when I'm on that listing webpage, here's my listing. I can actually see here that I have an in-person open house. It's coming up on New Year's Eve. I also have a live stream open house, and to do that, I have to register. And once you register, you're capturing the lead for that open house. So when you enter in an open house here, whether it is live or virtual, when people are on your website, sorry, I've got too many tabs open here, and they click that they want a live stream, they want to see the live stream that's happening on the 19th. When they register, it takes them to an open house sign-in page where they register for that live stream event. Taya, does that answer your question? And it works the same for the recorded. So if I schedule an open house that's a recording, and you would put that link in here. Yes, so can you schedule a live stream open house for someone else's listings or only for your own? You can do that for your listing or for someone else's listing. You can do it for either. Great question. So that's a brand new feature that actually just came out last week. The ability to schedule a virtual open house or a recorded open house. So again, you can schedule those by going to the open house here. Also, know as the listing agent that as those open houses are scheduling, you do have access to an open house sign-in page. When you have an open house sign-in page, whether it is a live open house sign-in page or a live stream open house sign-in page, that these leads are going to the agent who is holding the open house open. So if Taya is holding Kelsey Fulton's listing open, the leads from those open houses go to Taya. So next couple things that I do want to just go through are the tab items at the top. Before I do that, I do want to make sure that you know, if you're not the listing agent, how to get to that open house sign-in. So one thing that we do know is you're only going to see your listings here, correct? When you're underneath listings, for sale listings, you're only going to see your listings. But if you're hosting an open house for someone else, you can actually go in, you would go to listings, you would go to open houses, and then you'll be able to see all of your open houses, whether it is a pre-recorded, a live stream, or an in-person open house. And underneath the actions tab, you can see the sign-in page. And when you do that, it will open up that sign-in page for you. So if you wanted to promote this sign-in page on your Facebook or on your Instagram, you actually would have a link on where that needed to go. Again, to get here, we went into listings, open houses, and we found our open house, clicked on actions, sign-in page. So that is all the information I have for you about open houses right now. Are there any questions I can answer about open houses before we go into the other items available to you? Okay, so on the right-hand side, you really have the actionable items. On the left-hand side, next to details, you'll notice you have some tabs across the top that really talk more about what you can do with your listing. The first tab has to do with the map. So if your listing has mapped incorrectly, you can actually go in and you can drag and drop the pin to the correct location so that your listing is showing in the correct area. Hey, this listing is actually here on the corner of Westcott and Park Ridge. Once I make that adjustment, I click save, and now my map position is updated. Underneath the Actions tab is where you can go in and you can add individual action plans. So if you have a marketing plan for your listings that has things like install the lockbox, get the sign up, create your virtual open house tours, create your virtual tours, you can digitize that list and you can either add items individually by using this plus item in the upper right-hand corner, or you can assign entire action plans by clicking on the plus button here and utilizing your company's or your personal action plan items. Once you do that and you click save, all of those items will attach to the listing. Now, a couple things about actions for a listing to note is that there is the opportunity to make your items, your action items, visible to the seller. So that within the seller portal, when your seller logs in on their home screen, they can have a list of the items that you are doing as an agent to manage and sell their listing. As you complete items, they will automatically show as complete, or if they are not yet due, they will show as pending. So you can absolutely see those action plans items in the seller portal. If you do not want an individual item to show, perhaps you have a 30-day reminder, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to add a 30-day reminder. This is a pricing conversation with a seller that I need to have in 30 days. I can choose not to have an individual item shown in a action pricing conversation. It's not visible. That's a note just for me, not for the seller. So again, underneath that Actions tab, you can add individual actions or you can attach entire action plans. Any questions there? Okay, the next section is the attachments. So this attachment section is a place for public documents. I'm going to say that one more time. Public documents can be attached to the listing for display on your website. The attachment section within a listing is a great place for things like a survey, maybe there's a pre-inspection, maybe there's a plot map, maybe there's a PCR that you would like to be made public on your website. Your MLS does not feed these documents over to us. In order to have them be public, you have to attach them here. Any questions there? The next item is open houses. So you can see an ongoing list of all of your open houses here underneath the open house tab. It is just a running list. The next section is the showings section. So some of you have companies that are using this, some of you do not. I do want to briefly touch on it so you know what it is. On the details tab, we talked about this showing request link. opening up so that your outside agents could request showings on your properties. Underneath the showings tab is where you're going to see all of your showing requests. And to add a new showing, you would click on plus new. And then you can go ahead, you can type the agent name. If the agent is not in the database, you can go ahead, you can add the agent information in. And you can put in the information about the request. Hey, this is a request for Saturday between 2:30 and 3:30. It's a showing, it's pending. Is there a reminder? Once I do that, I can click save, and that showing request is going out. On this screen, you can actually see what your showing options are, who's confirming it by the agent, by the seller, by either the seller or the agent. Does the seller want to be notified, yes or no? There are 3 boxes here: instructions for the buyer's agent, directions for the buyer's agents, internal notes so that you know, cat is friendly, don't let it out, it will meow and purr all over you, or whatever those special notes are for setting up the showing. No, seller has bunko on Wednesday night, no showings on Wednesday nights. The last tab within the listing that we need to talk about is the reports tab. So this reports tab is an excellent tool for you, not only in promoting yourself as an agent, but also in communicating with your seller past the point of taking the listing. I really like this seller report for listing presentations for this reason. I can go to a listing presentation, and if I'm going to list Naya's house, I'm going to say, hey Naya, thanks so much for having this call with me today. I'm really excited to walk through your house virtually and hear more about it. Before we jump all the way in, I want to just talk to you about how many agents you're interviewing. Are you interviewing more agents than just myself? Naya says yes. I say perfect. So just so you know, there's a lot of things that agents all do the same. We all are going to competitively price your house. We're all going to help you coordinate contracts, and we all operate by the code of ethics. But I do some things that are different than my competition. One thing I do is I am going to create a website for your listing that only displays your listing so that you're really highlighted. It's a great promotional tool for you to use to send out to friends and family, to share, and it's a listing, it's a website just for your listing. So that's one thing I'm going to do. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a seller portal for you so that you can log in and you can see all of the action items that I have to help sell your home. And there's a level of transparency with the work that I'm doing for you, and you know where we're at in that marketing plan. The third thing that I'm going to do for you is I'm going to send you a weekly recap of all of the information and online traffic for your listing, because my job as your agent is to get more eyes on your listing and drive people to an accurate source of information. I can send you this report either weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, and in that I can also send some competition report. Naya says, oh my gosh, that sounds great. That's more communication than my other agents have said they're going to have with me. Can't wait to see it happen, right? So then I've got my seller attached. I also can put in the competition. Hey, price, min, max, what does that competition look like? I can choose the location of my competition here. And on the right-hand side, underneath report features, I can click and see all of the information that I want included in this report. If I would like to preview this report, I absolutely can do that. Hey, I'm going to preview this report. Here it is. Hey, Candace, here's the information. And as you scroll through, it's going to say, how are people getting to my site? Are they going direct? What does the web activity look like? How's the listing appearing in search results? How many times has it been viewed on the website? And what's my competition? Again, this is something that you can set up to automatically go out to your seller. It is going to always display the listing agent in the upper right-hand corner. and there's tremendous opportunity there. Once you set it up, you click save, you set it, and you forget it. The other thing that happens once you start to check these report feature boxes is in the seller portal, there are analytics on what is happening with your website and that listing here. So it is a great post-listing tool. It is a great tool to highlight at your listing presentations. Any questions about those seller reports? We've gone through a lot of information today. We started by going in and accessing your listings by going into the listings or using that quick links on the main homepage. From within your listings, you can sort. You can also click to open up those listings, and you can access open house sign-ins, details page, attach virtual tours. You can also change the map, add follow-up actions, attachments for your consumers, schedule your showings, and utilize full reports. This is really a broad overview of everything that you can do with a listing. This session has been recorded. We're right at 36 minutes. I do want to open it up, and if there are any questions that I can answer, I'm happy to do that. Know that you will be getting a copy of this recording as well as the upcoming sessions. Are there any questions I can answer for you? Alrighty. Well, I want to thank you all so much for joining me today. Looking forward to our sessions next week. Again, you will get an email today with a recap as well as links to the upcoming training. I hope you all have a great week, and we will talk to you soon.